Welcome to the Real Triathlon Podcast. I'm your host, Garrick Lowen, here with Nicholas Chase and Jackson Laundry. Welcome back to the Real Triathlon Podcast. We got the three boys here today, freshly off of Mont Tremblant 70.3 with Mr. Nicholas Chase getting ready for Challenge ROTH next weekend. I hope I pronounced
It's ROTH
everything
if you're
correctly.
American.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're American, then you get to say words however you want, and other people have to just accept it.
And if you say it like traditionally, like it's said in the culture, you sound dumb. So you just might as well say it the way Americans say it. Because it's like when you have a Spanish word that's like all frilly and you try to say it Spanish like, you sound dumb. Just got to fuck it up and own it.
That's true. That's true. So Challenge ROTH. So it's in ROTH. It's in Germany. Which part of Africa is that again?
The cleanest part.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
All right, so Garrick's got the start list there, and it's stacked. I've already heard some of the names, and I want to hear it, and I also then want to talk about how did they manage to pull all these guys away from the Ironman series that has a huge bonus at the end of the year.
I don't even know who's going.
It is, well, you got some big names there. You got Ditlev, Kyle Smith, Peter Hemrich, Rudy Von Berg, Daniel Backegaard, Jan Stratman, Clément Mignon, Patrick Lange, Leon Chevalier, Thomas Rodriguez Hernandez, who wants to break 230. I think he's pretty open about that.
I think they said to give him a bonus if he did, and then I think they're making the run like 40K or something like that.
Yeah, they're gonna shorten it even more.
You can wear whatever shoes you want, so he could probably put like little compressive rockets and explosions every time he runs at the last 10K. Just get the big gate. Super Mario.
Michael Arishida is doing this race. Travis Wood is doing this race. Oh wow, there's a couple American boys heading over there.
Well, I hadn't heard the start list until now. I think I might stay home and just watch it. It's probably the best situation.
Figured it out, boys. All these PTO guys, they're like, yeah, I could do one Ironman this year. Okay. And then they're like, well, I'm not going to compete in the Ironman series because I can't do 5 Ironman races. And then Challenge ROTH is like, come over here. We'll give you a big appearance fee. It'll be great. You get your one full distance. Be awesome. Give you lots of money. And they're like, sweet, let's do it.
They typically don't pay like big appearance fees, but they pay big contract bonuses if you do well. Like, or, you know, they have like very like specific things. Usually they're like, all right, well, you're a big name, Ditlev. If you do a bike course record and make us look real cool, we'll give you $39,000 or something. I don't know. I know that's how they typically do it.
What do you think that bonus is going to be if Lange or Rodriguez breaks 230 there?
I mean, I'm sure it'll happen. It'll probably be like $100.
I think it's
3
like
pairs of shoes.
50G.
I don't know who's the run course sponsor. I'm sure they've got a vested interest. Well, so yeah, anyways, I leave Monday for this race. And
so, Nick, how are you feeling about this race? Tell me, because this is a big race. This is like, you know, a big deal to do ROTH. I feel like that's something every triathlete, at least pro, has on their bucket list to do, and you're going to do it. How are you feeling? How's training going?
That's like, I haven't done a full since I blacked out in Mallorca about 2 years ago, and I'm a little nervous. It's been a minute.
That's both of us. Nice.
Yeah. So
I was there. It was great.
It's been a long time since I've done a full, and I'm really nervous. Pretty, I don't know, like bike fitness wise is the only thing that I really think I'm not where I'd like to be. Of course, like as a good coach does, Jim's been like, well, you just need to recover. You're fatigued as shit, because I legit am. I did the NV rodeo bitch slap gravel race on Saturday, which was 6 hours, 10 minutes, 9,000 feet. And I don't know what it is with gravel races. Let me go on a rant real quick. They just make them as hard as they can. They're like, oh, we'll put like 30 miles of gravel, 90-mile race, and we'll put like 25 miles of single track, uphill, downhill. Some of it you can't see. Some of it you're going to die if you go off a cliff edge and you're going to be in the drops. Like I was pregnancy breathing, descending down some of these hills like because my fingers were hurting so bad from all the vibrations and just the shit you have to go down at like 50 miles an hour down dirt roads. Like gravel is so tough. I don't know how these guys do it. So anyways, that level of fatigue, and then I had to do a sweat test, and then in pure fashion, I drove home 4 hours afterwards and only ate McDonald's because that's like all I could get off the highway real quick. So recovery has been tough these last 4 to 5 weeks, but I've been putting in the miles, man. I mean, tons of 5-hour rides and long runs, 2.5-hour runs. Like, I really don't know based on today, which was my last big training day, how I'm going to show up. Like, I can run 4 minutes per K, probably okay. I don't know how the bike's going to go as long as my back doesn't get destroyed. And I swam really well today. I had a good activation set. I had like 4x200 on yards. And I was like, the first 200 was on left on 220, second was on 230. And then the last two were on 240s. And I was holding like 103 to 107 per 100 yards. So it was good. And this was after 5 hours of smashing and calf cramps. So you do the best you can. You roll the gosh damn dice and you're like, I don't know what's going to happen on Ironman Day because I'm feeling like pretty shitty right now. And I hope I feel better by after travel. And that's,
yeah, man, 5 hours of smashing. That's a lot. That's 4 hours and 57 minutes more than I usually make smashing.
But I'm excited to go experience it. This is the 40th anniversary of ROTH, so it's a big deal. And I'm assuming that's why they pulled in a lot of cool cats. It'll be nice to hang out with everybody. I've got some cool media things to do, and then staying with a homestay. Hopefully they are cool and cook me some food, and I don't have to do anything but sleep and recover and dread the last 10K of the 40K marathon. But Jackson's doing a full real quick in July.
First, it goes Nick, Garrick, me, right?
Garrick, what are you doing? Penticton?
No, Vitoria.
Vitoria.
Where's that? Australia?
Gasteiz. It's Spain.
Dude, you're branching out. You're like going to Thailand, racing in Egypt, hanging out with the Inuits, going to Finland.
Yeah, wait. Real quick, before we get into the next races more, let's go back to Tremblant, and that'll set the stage for Garrick and I for our training into the next one. So, I think everybody's heard about
first, Nick, man, what are your goals for this race?
Oh yeah, we gotta establish that.
Yeah,
not pass out,
not get beat by any of the girls. That's all I can go into. This is I don't want to get chicked. I haven't done one of these in a while, but then I'm going to do Ironman Chattanooga. So this is like a warm up for more Ironmans in the future. I mean, if I could run like a 255, bike probably like a 420, and swim real quick, like I don't know, like the traditional times of this course are really fast. So swim in the high 40s, like do they go 48 minutes now or something like that? I think I've done 47 minutes in a full swim. I've biked like 415 or 425 on a hilly course, but I haven't really run well, or like maybe rated for like 3 hours. So if I could run like 250s, that would be the goal. Thank you for asking.
If you could do
beauty
like we did at Mallorca, except then run pretty good, that'd be good.
It'd be a good day. Yeah, I mean,
second pack swim, and then we biked with the main group, which was about 15 minutes behind, and then Nick was doing all right and running okay and kind of working, and then he was just not there anymore, and I was like, what the hell happened to Nick?
Just passed out in Mallorca and left for dead in the ambulance. No big deal. So that's my goal. Garrick, I've always seen this race on, and I never knew how to like pronounce it. I never know where it is. Like, what motivated you to go to Vitoria-Gasteiz? Get your dog under control.
Yeah, hold on.
Jackson, what motivated you to go to IRONMAN Lake Placid when your second place in the Pro Series? What are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking if I want to stay second place in the Pro Series or have a chance to win or at least come top 5, I'm gonna have to do Ironmans. Like I'm gonna have to pretty much commit to it. So honestly, going to PTO San Fran and not being that competitive. I know that like I can be competitive in those races, but the course and the dynamics and stuff just I didn't quite have the right strategy and I wasn't going to be competitive on that course on that day anyway, but it also made me realize like to have a good day at one of those PTOs is like going to be very tough and you have to really peak for it, really take a big risk to like have a huge training block for it and go for it and you still might get cranked. Like those guys are so good. So I thought, okay, well, I've already got a lot of good points for the Ironman series, and I know I can consistently compete year round with like B plus fitness in a whole bunch of races all year long, and that's what's good for the Ironman series. So let's just freaking do it, and let's see if I can translate what I've done in halves to full. So first is got to go to freaking Lake Placid, and then I thought, all right, well, I haven't done an altitude camp this year. Most of my best results have come off altitude camps. I've trained here with Matt before in Castle Rock, Colorado, and I was like, let's see if he's down for that. And he was up for it. So here I am. And I'm gonna be staying with Leslie, but I think that's gonna give me a boost. I'm not gonna need to do any like crazy hero workouts. I'm just gonna need to train, get the volume up, let the altitude kind of give me that boost, and go and see how we go in Lake Placid. So that's my story, as you see. We'll see how it goes. But I just need to make sure I don't put myself in a hole. That's the most important thing because my fitness is there. I just need to like specify into the Ironman, let the altitude give me that little bit of a edge, and then rest and go do what I've been doing because I'm not gonna like reinvent myself in 3 weeks of training. So yeah, that's the
I'll
plan.
be I'll be interested to see how the front of the race goes at some of the Pro Series racing. Like if it's typically when I raced in Europe, even it'd be like the guys would race half distance effort for the first lap or the first half, and then they'd kind of back off or settle in. And even when we raced in Mallorca, there was like some late moves. It's the full distance racing is still kind of a lot of firepower, and I'm sure Lake Placid is going to have a lot of really strong legs. So I think it's a great plan because you're already strong. I just be curious to see the dynamics, how it plays out. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll see. I think people are gonna be aggressive. Um, I really the main thing I want to get from this altitude specifically is that swim boost that I've always gotten because I know I was close. Like I did have a really good swim in Mont Tremblant. I was close to that lead group, and then once I missed it, I just sat on the feet and the effort was really low, but we didn't lose that much time. So I know that like my technique is there right now. I just need to get this little boost, and I think I can potentially even swim with the lead group would be awesome, and I think it's possible. But even if not, I think the deficit's going to be low. So the tactic for me is going to be yeah, like try to get in that lead group, and if I'm not quite there, I think I can get in there with like some good solid riding at the beginning of the race. Um, I don't want to race too scared. Like I know in an Ironman you do have to be more conservative, so I have to like balance that, but at the same time I'm not gonna like completely give up my strength on the bike, which has been what really has excelled me on all my best results. So I've got to kind of balance that game. But yeah, I don't know, this altitude thing might help me out, or we'll see. At least give me the confidence for the swim. So um but I mean, Garrick and I, you can ask Garrick. We've swam together every race we've ever done. I'm pretty sure that actually might be true. And then this time I got it ahead of him at Mont Tremblant. So he might have
Ooh,
screwed it up. I'm not quite sure, but I'm just gonna say that it was because I have good
in
swim
the
skills.
chop, in the chop.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was the one time I dropped you in Des Moines, but then you caught up to me because the run to transition was like 4K.
Oh, right. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, you were like 10 seconds ahead of me, I think. So,
yeah. I had a pretty bad swim in Tremblant. I'm hoping that that is a one-off, but I'm not sure.
well, you said that you didn't get a warm up and you like had a hard time getting to the start in time because you were something. Let's just see. Garrick, give us your race report from Tremblant. We need to get into this
Ooh,
anyway.
yeah, Garrick, hit us.
Yeah, yeah. Big Jack had a big day, but I had a bigger day, finishing 20 spots behind him. Uh,
Still there, buddy. Same
no,
course, same course.
yeah, exactly. No, I did have a really bad swim. I don't know, my swim's been very hit or miss lately. Even in workouts, I haven't found that like consistency. So we'll see. I think something has like fundamentally changed in my swimming that hasn't translated very well into the open water. So I'm a little concerned. Hopefully we can figure that out in the next couple weeks. But yeah, I think the bike, what I wanted to do going into Tremblant is I just wanted to feel good in a race and have fun. And that's kind of what I did. The conditions were perfect for racing. It was like ideal conditions. It might have been a little bit on the warm side, but you take what you can get. And, um, but man, I like the first half of the bike or to 35K. I was at like I think I was 360 average to the turn, and I was like yo-yoing off the back of that group. I was absolutely dying. So I
Which group?
basically just the main chase group, the one that was like not you guys. It was a group of there was a lot of it was probably like
Yeah, there
12
was
of us
one
in the
group
group
that
at the
was
one time.
huge.
Yeah,
It seemed at the turnaround it was like 15 guys or something.
that was our group. Yeah, I was yo-yoing off the back of that, and we eventually split. And I was at the back, and I missed the split, and I was almost in that moment. I was like grateful that I didn't have to go with that. And I was like, I'm just gonna ride the Thegas guys. And we kind of just made our way back and rode strong and stuff. That was with like Taylor Reed and those guys. And then almost got a penalty by the ref. Actually, I did get a penalty from the ref because I guess she was kind of late coming up to us when we hit the one U-turn. And we were four of us, and the two front guys missed the U-turn. And so when she came up to us, she didn't really understand why there were two guys on the right side of us, and they were kind of passing us, and we were trying to reestablish ourselves. And she was ready to give us all a penalty, but luckily she like listened to me and like I explained it to her, and she was like, "Okay, that's fine," and then let us go. But she was ready to give like three of us a penalty.
Oh,
Should have gotten
Yeah,
it.
so that would have sucked.
Rules are rules. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Get out of here. No banter between the refs. No
uh,
professionalism should be squandered.
well,
Exactly. You can't argue with the refs.
hey, well, think
Judgment
about it
But
this
call.
way. If you had gotten a penalty, you probably would have run even faster.
I know. This
Fair.
was the first run. So we got off the bike. This was the first run I've ever had in the 70.3 where I was like felt like I was pushing the whole way and like I was comfortable and where I could like close it out, you know? Like like the last 3K was mostly downhill, but I still ran like 330s. And that felt like, I felt like
Nice.
I was rolling pretty good. So yeah, I was
How
happy
was
with
your rough
that.
split?
Finally made it. And it was 118 something.
Did your hips stay attached?
They stayed attached. So it's good. I just, got to figure out the swim and maybe push a bit more on the bike, like have that strength to hold that power for the whole ride instead of really backing off. But I think backing off that ride is probably why I ended up with such a good run. That and the conditions obviously played a factor, but no, I'm happy. It's about time. Felt good. So
Nice, man. It was good to see you ripping like I saw on the run coming back. There's like a lot of guys in pretty close succession, and you were like at the back of that like chunk of guys. I imagine a lot of you guys ran pretty similar, but did you catch guys? Were you running with anyone or were you solo?
Yeah, I caught 3 or 4 guys and got passed once right at the end. So I moved up. I think I got off the bike in 29th or 28th, and I finished in 25th, which never happens. And my run split, like relative to the field, was better than I think both my swim and my bike, which also never happens.
Yeah, there was like some 113s, a lot of 118s, and then some 120s. Like it was a pretty slow day on the old run for most people.
Yeah, I think it I don't know what it is about. I thought the runs would have been really quick. Like Garrick had a PB run, but other than him, I don't know if anyone really had a PB or like a really fast day. Oh, Hunter Lucy had a
Yeah,
PB by a
113.
landslide.
Yeah,
And that
he's
guy's
back, eh?
he's more than bad. He's never run even like that I've seen under like 118 to 120. And he just ran a 113 high. So
And
that was crazy.
Liferman too.
Liferman had a great run. Yeah, it was pretty weird race, but yeah, no, it was
Well,
good.
unless you're Tamara, also ran a 113.
She ran 113. Okay, so that is
Yeah,
almost a PB for her too.
she ran
No, it was
116.
115.
Oh,
It was like 116.30 or something.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, it
sorry.
wasn't quite. Because her
Start
PB is
rumors.
113.00 at Oceanside.
But she had the fastest run in the women's field by like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had a great run. My point is merely like it seems like the conditions weren't all that fast, except a couple people had like great days. And I think maybe like a lot of that is the weather. Like maybe Hunter is also a guy that doesn't like the heat at all, and they're pretty much always pretty hot runs. So that could have been a good uh conditions for him too. But but yeah, Tamara freaking we gotta talk about that. She's back, like full on,
Oh
back
yeah.
in black. She had those 2 rough days, tough start to the year, and then San Francisco was solid on her way back into it. She felt positive about it, and then here, Mont Tremblant, freaking epic battle, closing down 6 minutes, was it, on Ellie to
I think
finish
it was more
second?
than that at one point.
Yeah, it was pretty
8 minutes.
crazy to see. She
Well, it was
catches
weird. Like she came, like she was like well back, like 10th or something at one point, and there must have been a big group of girls because then all of a sudden she comes off in third, and I was like, man, she must have done really well on Duplessis and bridged a bunch of gaps or something. But she really strategized well on that one. And then
she's a really great climber.
Paula probably held the same amount of power as some pro men.
What'd she bike? I don't know. She was way ahead. She
I
did a
don't
great
know,
job, I
but
think.
that time
She
trial
biked
she
like
did like 300.
yeah, she biked 219, I think. Like she was only a minute slower than me.
Holy,
She
she's
crashed it.
biking good.
Yeah.
She's obviously got her aerodynamics pretty dialed now as well. So that's pretty sick.
I think
That
we're
obviously
seeing a lot of guys focus so much on position and they're screwing their backs. Like I've seen that comment in a lot of these races. Everyone's so focused on the position that they're getting a little too aggressive. I even have to drop my saddle a little bit for ROTH, just because I find that it just taxes the glute medius and the sacral joint too bad if it's just a little bit too high on a long distance.
yeah. Yeah, the seat height is really important, I think, to make sure it's
Yeah.
like, if anything, a couple mils low, um, is pretty key. But I've lucky for me, like my back has just gotten better and better every race this year. I think I'm just getting used to the position and like some new strength routine that's settling in. But um, freaking tried to be aggressive in this race. How much do you think of a loss it is to have that helmet visor up for the freaking cask minstrel? Because it's a big, like, there's a lot of space between the helmet and your head. So maybe it's like really bad.
Does it stay
Did you
like
have it up?
I put it up because it fogged up immediately when I got on.
Then easily 30 watts.
Yeah.
I think
I
you'd have been
wonder.
with Lionel the whole time.
Well, maybe. I mean, if it's a few watts difference, it could have been, but maybe I should have tried putting it back on after a bit. But anyway, yeah, I had the good swim, was happy with that, and then got on the bike, pounced, tried to close that gap. I did get it from like 46 seconds down to on the tracker at 7K it was like 38, but I know I got a little bit closer even after that. Like getting onto the highway, I was probably at like 10K. I was probably about 30 seconds back, maybe even a little less. But then those boys out on the highway, like they're organized, they're all fast on the downhills and they're taking turns at the front, and like I can't close out on my own. And I started like hovering, like I from there to the turnaround, which was a long way, like 20 plus K, I lost like 10 seconds. But Lionel had caught us. I didn't know I was pulling a whole group. I thought it was just me and Hunter Lucy. I don't know if it was me that was pulling them or Lionel, but anyway, Lionel goes by. I go into second in the group. Hunter Lucy had led a little bit back and forth with me. He was riding really strong, but then he was like really slow on the downhills, like so like tentative and scared, and I just like went right by him. So then I didn't really get much benefit because I was never behind him on any of the faster parts where you're getting more of like a bit of a draft benefit. Um, but it was good to have him pushing it on like the uphills. And then Lionel goes by. I get second wheel at the U-turn. He just freaking smashes it. And he said in his post race he did over 600 watts for like whatever 10 seconds, and then his 1 minute was 490. So like I did I don't know, I didn't upload mine. It wasn't 490, but I was pushing way over 400 and he was just taking off. Um so I try like I was going lactic and like I just couldn't do it. So he was gone, and then I was thinking, okay, maybe I can like ride strong and try to still catch that group if he like catches the group and rests or something, but they were just totally gone. Once he caught them, they freaking flew. Um, so so I lost a ton of time, and I think I got in transition like 4.5 minutes down. Um, which is pretty crazy. So I lost 4 minutes in 60K basically. Maybe 3:45.
Yeah, they were hammering for real.
Yeah, they were really pushing it, and then oh, I did miss that stupid freaking U-turn too, and like I was with Felipe and Hunter, and like I went from first in our group to third, and then I was like had to catch them, and then I stayed at the back a while. I lost a bit of time there, but I felt like we just couldn't get a good momentum because like Hunter was super strong on the uphills and the flats, but then he was like really slow on the downhills. Felipe never really went to the front, but it just wasn't really efficient where you could actually like get some momentum. Like I always had to go back around on the downhills, and instead of our group actually like accelerating, it seemed like it was just stalling. So anyway, and then I was like not hitting the starts of the hills too hard, and so he would go by me, and then I'd have to slow down, and like I don't know, just didn't feel like we were working together too well, even though it was nice to ride with some guys. Um,
How was Race Ranger in the rain?
Honestly, it seemed like worked perfectly well most of the time, but sometimes Hunter's light just like wouldn't have a yellow light. It would go from no light to blue. Um, and then so that was a little weird, but it didn't seem to affect me too much because like I seemed to know that it was glitching, so I would like stay out of the light a lot, and we didn't have any issues. Like it was super clean. We never had any like it would turn red by accident or anything. And the one time Felipe did go around because he got a red light on Hunter, so it's the way it goes. But I did drop those boys on Duplessis because that's like a really rolling, mostly uphill, and I knew I would just be able to keep more momentum over the little rollers. And then on the downhill, I think I put some time in a Hunter, and I turns out I needed it because he ran well, got onto the run, um, and felt pretty good. And then in the like 5K, I started feeling like I had to hit a Porto, and I was like, okay, at least get to the turnaround, see where guys are, and see like when might be the best time to like run into a freaking Porto. And I could see I was already like 4 minutes plus behind Lionel and like 3 plus behind the other boys. Um, so I was like, all right, well, I'll see if I can put together a decent run here. And then I took the U-turn, and I feel like I was around like a minute and a half ahead of Hunter, and like they seem to be all together, like Hunter, João Pereira, Chris Leiferman, they're all pretty close. Um, so I hit the Porto right after the turnaround, so I was probably right about at half because the turnaround's just before half. Um, Felt like I was forever. I couldn't get the stupid sleeve off my elbow. Felt like I was forever, but it was probably like 45 seconds maybe in that range. Um, So that was that. But then as soon as I got that out of me, I was giving her way faster. So it was worth it for sure. And then I ran strong to the end. And I think Leiferman and Hunter might have made up a little time on me, but not too much. So I solid in fifth and another solid day for me. Every freaking race, solid race, solid race. It's like I like solid race, but I want to be like, fuck yeah, great race. Like that was you knocked that out of the park. So that's where I think this altitude is gonna give me a little boost because yeah, I don't want to be complacent with where I'm at. Like I don't want to change everything and be like, oh, I need to reinvent the wheel to get better, but just to like enhance what I've been doing a little bit, I think is going to get me in a really good spot for Placid. So that's the big one. I mean, I'm second in the series, but I've only done halves, so you gotta have good fulls if you want to do well in the series, and
Well,
that's what I'm gonna do.
things are probably going to change a lot after Nice for the girls, Kona for the boys, and then man, everything's going to get washed up in the top probably sixth in New Zealand for sure. I just can't. I mean, I can't see too many guys really moving up from like 15th to like fifth. But I think if you're in that top 8 right now and you do really well at New Zealand, like you've got a good chance to get a lot of bonus. But yeah, I mean, not doing any halves and being second, or not doing a fulls and being second is massive. And then Ellie Salthouse just moved in the ninth, being only gal on the women's side to not do any fulls. So it's pretty cool that you can make some good moves and stick to, your specialties. But kudos for stepping up and deciding like, I gotta do a full. Are you gonna do more than one?
We'll see if I qualify for Kona. I mean, you can't just not do Kona, like
True that.
so. I'll do that, but probably, but we'll see if I feel like if I have a pretty good day and I feel like I'm competitive and I might take a chance and try to go do Frankfurt 4 weeks after Placid, which is crazy. It sounds crazy, but what do you do? Like it's a biggest opportunity that we've ever had in terms of like something that matters throughout the year more than just one race. Um, which is kind of what I've like needed it or wanted in my career. So it's pretty sweet. Sweet opportunity. And it's not like I have to go and win Placid and win Frankfurt and,
No.
top three at Kona. Like if you go and you finish like, even if you go and finish 10 to 15 minutes down in Placid and Frankfurt or something like that, you're still probably going to be way up there in the series because you're getting over 4,000 points. Like it's
Well,
still,
that's what the women's field is like right now. If you look at like the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, there's some women who finished maybe like eighth or 10th at halves, but they've had, they've been maybe top 10 at most of their races. In that full, they've been top 10, which made a big difference. So you're right. You don't have to, you just be in the top 10 and be on a really good time, less of a time deficit. And that's going to make payday count a lot more because it's an ultimate time bonus.
yeah, exactly. And the way I was looking at it was like when we did Mallorca and I was like, I did not prepare that well for this, and like I don't feel like I never felt good all day, and I still was. It was like 29 minutes behind the win or something in a really really strong field. I'm like, okay, if I can just go and like feel pretty good, execute a good race, I'm at least gonna be like way less than 29 minutes back. And
I bet
so
15 minutes will still be good points. And that's like, you know, there's big gaps usually within Ironman, unless like that top 10 usually is pretty tight and then it kind of spreads out. So I mean, you'll probably even be like, between 5 and 8 minutes. You probably won't be too bad off.
yeah, I really think with a good day I'll be up there, and then I think it's going to be super competitive. It's going to be a similar field to Tremblant plus a bunch of other dudes who are strong. So it'll be interesting to see, and I'm excited for it. And let's do it. We're here, Colorado. I'm going to be staying with Leslie Smith, and I'm going to make her do a podcast with us.
Oh gosh,
Staying with her for a week.
you better make it count. But before that, Garrick, Vitoria-Gasteiz, what's up? Why?
Because I thought there were too many hills in Placid.
Ah, this one's flat as shit.
It's not flat as shit. It's rolling. It's in the Basque Country. So there's like three main climbs on every loop. The longest one's about 3 minutes. I think it's just like 1,200 to 1,300 meters. and then there's a 400-meter climb and like a 200-meter climb or something. But I also just like, I want to go check something out. I want to go race in Europe. I've done it ITU, got my butt kicked over there by the Europeans. I want to experience that in Ironman.
I just had a jaw cramp. Sorry to cut you off. Like I just yawned and like this muscle right here just locked her right up. But you're right, Garrick. European Ironmans are different for sure. They ride and race a lot different than America. Sometimes it's more savage than you can imagine. Man, this hurts.
Nick's got good old-fashioned lockjaw.
Here's one thing that I could guarantee you. There's going to be about 30 guys that you've never heard of who are actually really freaking good. And you're like, why? Like, that's the thing I've noticed about Europe is like the top level is very similar to the North American, but then like the middle to back is so much closer to the front. It feels like when I've gone there, there's just always a fast guy that's not that far back. So that's been
most of them will run sub 250. Like that's the crazy thing I've always noticed with like the winner might go 238 and then everyone else is like 245 to 255. That's a lot of fast runners in Europe for sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So I was looking at the run course for this race too. It's 4 laps, and there's 31 right hand or 90-degree turns per lap, and 6 U-turns per lap. It is a maze.
That sucks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's literally a maze. So multiply that by 4. I don't think it's going to be too fast, but it'll be fun.
U-turns.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
like over 190-degree turns, way over 100.
The ROTH bike course looks pretty like someone just like was like, close your eyes and draw where you want to go. Like it just doesn't make any sense either. I was like, this is going to be insane, the amount of stuff that happens in ROTH. At least it's a 1 lap run course though.
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Either a 1 lap run or a 1 lap bike. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, what's his name's going to be in Vitoria? The guy who won the Ironman World Championships last year.
What's that guy's name? Sam
Yeah,
lay
what's that guy's
real
name again?
Sam lay real low.
Exactly. He'll be there. So if I beat him, I think I can make it in the sport.
I mean, go for it.
All right. Well, I'm pretty starving, so can we come up with a wrap up moment for this?
Yeah, I think this is kind of summed it up. Nick, we got more to talk about?
Nah, it is a 1 lap run course. I just didn't want to be wrong about that and then have someone cancel me. Bike course, I believe, is 2 loops.
Well, Nick, we're probably not gonna. We might do one. You might do one with us while you're there, waiting and trying to just chill. But if
next
not,
week,
if not, good luck. Represent, do your thing. Make sure you're the best mullet and stash out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, I know I was pretty doom and gloom about it, but I'm pretty excited. I'm just really tired. It's been a long way to get here, and that's typical Ironman fitness. I'm doing next episode. I mean, we can mix it in with whatever you do too. I've got Matt Sharp coming on next Thursday to do the Tempo News monthly roundup of all the hot topics. We've already got some really good stuff to talk about, which is happening in the tri world. So that's happening next week. And then we should probably do like a pre-Placid thing.
Pre-Placid. I'm here with Matt. We got to get Matt on. He's our most frequent guest. So we can even record a couple things and
do a double.
Even release bonus. We could double.
Is Matt doing Placid?
He's doing Placid. I also want to do a collab with Joe Skipper. Get him on. Maybe go on his. Get a little rivalry going because everyone knows how me and Joe Skipper hate each other so much, and how I'm gonna kick his ass in Mount Placid. There is a good hill in it, so we'll call it Mount Placid.
The long ass hill.
But he is the defending champ, and he's done a lot of really good Ironmans. So it'll feel that much better when I beat him.
Yeah, and he just did Cairns and had a good day there. I mean, he's been kind of struggling to get back to his form, so he came good at Cairns, and No,
I
he's
think
got
he's
a good.
on his way up. Like I think Cairns was a good step, and he's like building, and I think he's gonna really do well in Placid. So
Yeah.
again, that's just gonna be that much sweeter when I still beat him.
All right, let's get some collabs. Garrick, we'll get your Vitoria-Gasteiz feedback. And yeah, a lot of good episodes coming down the pipe. We'll get some more teammates on here. But yeah, let's end this so we can go assess our level of fatigue and cry.
Yeah. Well, Nick
Just
can
me.
go cry.
Just me. All right, guys. Thanks a bunch. Good to see you, boys, and peace friggin' out.
Out.